Hello, and welcome back to Hunted Mini Bikes. Now I gotta tell you, it's been a wonderful ride since we first got this Trailmaster. Here, stock in its beautiful form, a little untrustworthy. We always brought our emergency support vehicle, afraid it might pop a chain or just kind of die in the middle of the trails. But now, it's gained my respect, and I'll tell you, the stock form is great, but it definitely needs some mods. And oh boy, did it get plenty of those. Except I really didn't do a whole lot on the motor internally, only 18-pound valve springs and removing the governor, but this thing works perfect out here in the desert. It takes steep hills, goes through deep sand, and overall, just a really good platform to modify. Which personally is my favorite thing about these bikes. Now there are so many universal parts and things you can put on here, as long as you have the right size, you can make these bikes look like anything. But we're going to take that a step farther. Today, the MB 200X mini bike starts its transformation into a princess. Well, a 200cc mini bike for a princess. We have to take it down to a rolling frame because this princess is getting some metallic surgery. Handlebars, seats, gas tank, my janky wiring, it worked. And the engine. Begone, peasants. I declare this mini bike to be built of a quality unknown to the land of this garage. Faster, blacksmiths. Faster. Time to weigh it.
100 pounds.
That's pretty good. The old gas tank mount banished. The cutting wheel. The jester of the cutting tool world. We need to call Sir Zalzal. It's quarter-inch steel, milady. Quick. Bring me the dragon fire. We got this going pretty well. That's real fancy. I'm gonna grind those down so it looks beautiful. And we're well on our way. Next, we're gonna re-support this part, and then we'll move on to that part. But then the rear swing arm is gonna get extended. We're gonna have to straighten these bars a little bit. Measurements need to be exact. More grinding, then more welding, then more grinding, then more welding. Oh, the power went out. Finally, moving on to something new. It looks like Sir Zalzal came back for a visit, and now we're cutting off the seat. And after some meticulous welding and grinding, I got this front piece pretty clean. But after a quick few bends, it got pretty straight, and then I noticed this metal is kinked like an 80s dog turd. We are not using that. So I went to buy some new metal. But before we get to bending a new seat, a lot of this is actually going to depend on the angle that I can get this tank welded at. I want it to be a pretty aggressive look, but I don't want it to look funny. So we're going to get that mounted up and go from there. By Merlin's beard, it's a montage. Okay, so we finally got the seat done, and I'm sure you're wondering why it's this weird shape, but here, let me explain. I hope that now makes sense. Alrighty, we're finally getting the seat lined up here. That is looking smooth, nice angles. Oh, it's even from there. My God, this is almost like the bike I asked my fairy godmother for. Bippity boppity, get back to work, blacksmith.
the princess when she invites you over for some netfish and tranquil, but when you get there, you find out she doesn't even own a net.
Gotcha. So we are probably about a third of the way done with the framing, and man, it is coming out better than I thought. I tossed on some seat mounts here that you may have missed, and this is just going great. So we have the seat frame done. Now it's time to move on to the seat. I don't know if you've ever reupholstered anything, but the big secret is there's a goddamn lot of staples. Now I'm actually going to be chopping this one up into sections to match the angle of the seat frame and everything, and then put a little protective part on the back of the gas tank because it's real sharp right here, and I don't want my nuts to be in danger.
The king's future children, thank you in advance. And an extra request put in specifically by me. A Tempur-Pedic seat so that every ride is the perfect ride. Hang on a second there, blacksmith. That's not what I ordered. Oh dear God, who taught you upholstery? Was it Merlin's blind cousin again? Blurlin? Well, I guess there is plenty of cushion and the king's jewels will be kept safe. Maybe I should congratulate you. Job well done. No, that's not it. You met the requirements. Thank you, blacksmith. Glorious. One of the knights of the pink palm tree has finally returned with the scroll of perpetually pungently pink perfect for King Arthur's sake. It's a pink light film. Who wrote this goddamn shit? Why are we doing this?
Because for a princess, everything needs to be pink. So, wish me luck. I've got a lot of film, so we can mess this up.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, blacksmith. Because, do it again.
Well, for never having done this before, I would think I did all right. Yeah. We'll find out when we rebuild it.
One thing I may have neglected to mention is we're swapping this over to a monoshock setup for a couple of reasons. Not only will extending the rear swing arm allow us more suspension travel, but the monoshock will make it smoother and easier to ride. Also, extending the swing arm forward closer to the fulcrum point of the chain is going to reduce chain stretch.
So far, this is what we have done. Obviously, there's a little bit more to do, such as put a single spring in the rear, hide the battery mount somewhere, and then do a couple things to the front, obviously send it to paint, and then we'll start putting it back together. So until then, we'll see you on the next one.